So muscle loss and GLP-1s is a big topic, but muscle loss in general has always been a concern for people losing weight, mostly large amounts of weight. It's been a concern for me for years, even before I started microdosing, so this isn't really anything new. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why muscle is important and how I prevent muscle loss so you can keep your muscle, stay healthy, and all the other good stuff. Okay, so why is muscle good? It helps reduce flat or saggy body parts, helps maintain strength, which is great for quality of life, and it helps you look leaner at the same weight. Okay, so I have two ways I prevent muscle loss, and it's one, eating enough protein, and two, resistance exercises or resistance training. We'll start with protein first. Okay, so what protein do I eat? I eat lean protein because it has less calories than protein with high fat, let's say pork ribs or Wagyu steak. And lean to me is a 2 or more to 1 protein to fat ratio. For example, if you know how to read nutrition labels, this has 2.5 grams of fat and 30 grams of protein, so that is a 12 to 1 protein to fat ratio. And just some examples of lean protein, it would be things like chicken, so like chicken breast or chicken thighs without any skin, egg whites, ground beef, ground turkey, and plain Greek yogurt. There's a lot more, but these are just common examples that people like to eat. And to give you an example of lean protein foods that I personally eat, I get a lot of it from fast food restaurants like Panda Express and Chipotle. So Panda Express, I get grilled chicken thighs, and Chipotle, I get chicken and steak. And if you're curious why I get my food from fast food places, it's because I'm lazy and I don't want to cook. I used to cook every single meal and count every single calorie, but I made it a point to have the easiest time losing weight while microdosing, just to prove to myself that I can do it, and so far it's been great. Also, this is just convenient and saves me time from cooking and cleaning pots and pans. And for those curious about price, this Panda Express family pack over here is about like $47, and it lasts me about 5 to 6 days. This is just me eating it. The Chipotle is around $70 and lasts about like 4 to 5 days. It's more expensive and doesn't last as long, but it tastes better. But I don't get it too often anymore. And these are just my main meals that I eat. I eat other stuff like snacks and protein drinks too. Also, side note, I've noticed that because I eat less food in general, because of microdosing, I spend less money on food, and the money I would have spent on it can go towards pre-cooked foods, since they generally cost more. Okay, so eating protein can sometimes be hard, especially when my appetite is low. So here's how I make it easy with what I call the 3 protein Ps. It's pre-cooked protein, protein drinks, and protein snacks. So pre-cooked protein would be things like canned tuna, lean deli meats, rotisserie chicken, and restaurant takeout. For example, you can get some pre-cooked protein at the grocery store. So this is chicken, and this is just like a steak salad bowl. I personally like to get pre-cooked steak from Costco, but there's a lot of options nowadays, which is nice. You could pretty much find them in any grocery store. I went over this earlier, but fast food restaurants have some pre-cooked protein and other foods. The way I think about it is pre-cooked foods is pretty much a more affordable personal chef. But if you have a personal chef, that's great because you have more options. All right, the next protein P is protein drinks and shakes. They're convenient and easy to digest when my appetite is low compared to solid protein foods. For example, I like to get like yogurt drinks, and I also get a bunch of Fairlife chocolate protein drinks. As you can see, I like to stock up on these. But there's a ton of other options, not just Fairlife. To me, these just taste the best. Also, these Chobani yogurt drinks are really good. This peaches and cream flavor is probably my favorite. They're slightly higher in calories and have less protein, but it doesn't really matter. All right, and the last protein P is protein snacks. Like protein drinks, they're convenient, especially on the go or for a snack. And you don't need to cook them. So some examples would be protein bars, protein chips, and lean beef jerky. What's nice about the chips is that they're salty and crunchy if you like those type of foods. Plus, they have a lot of different flavors. But from my experience, they can be hit or miss for me. Like sometimes the texture and flavor is off. Other times it can be really good and just taste like regular chips. Now let's go over a few other ways I make protein easier to eat. I prioritize it in every meal, meaning I eat it first before other foods so I don't get too full. For example, in this picture, I'll have the chicken first, and then I'll have the rice, and then I'll have the veggies last. If I ate the rice and veggies first before any of the protein, I would get too full, and I would probably undereat protein, which I don't want. And another way I make protein easier to eat is by having a longer eating window. So for example, I start eating as soon as I wake up, and then I stop eating protein closer to bed. Having a longer eating window just gives me more time to digest and not be too full and have to force feed myself. And by the way, combining coffee with your protein drink or shake is a good way to get in some protein and caffeine. It's pretty much just hitting two birds with one stone. All right, let's talk about how much protein I eat. I aim for 0.7 grams to 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight every day. I say I hit my protein goal pretty much every day, maybe 6 days a week on the low end. I don't stress about it as much when I used to miss my daily protein target. It's not that big of a deal, occasionally not eating enough protein. I would only think it's a problem when I can't consistently hit my targets, like less than 6 days a week. Okay, so how do I measure protein? I use my own variation of what's called hand portions. I don't like to weigh my food anymore because I just don't want to. Hand portions is not as accurate compared to weighing, but it's been good enough for me. Basically, the way I measure my protein is I get my fist with the thumb in the inside, and then I shape my protein to my fist, like both the size and circumference. Like imagine this amount of chicken is just the size of my fist. Each fist is about 25 to 30 grams of protein. It's a range because everyone has different fist sizes. And if I'm only eating lean protein, I aim for about like 4 fists per day, but you can obviously add more if you want to. Okay, that's it for protein, which is the first way I prevent muscle loss. The second way is with resistance training or resistance exercises. Think lifting weights or anything involving body weight exercises. I personally think it's more important for maintaining muscle than eating enough protein, but if you can do both, then muscle loss shouldn't be an issue. Also, I only have one slide on this, but maybe in the future I'll expand on it. All right, just a few things I want to cover. Not much is actually needed to maintain muscle. Like as long as you put in some effort, you should probably be okay. Not just like go through the motions. It should actually feel somewhat challenging. And people think they need to go to the gym like 5-6 times a week, but really you can get away with way less than that. Like even 2 days a week is a good start, assuming you train pretty hard. I think the main hard part for a lot of people when it comes to resistance training is just the commitment and convenience of lifting weights. For example, you got to like sign up for a gym, change clothes, drive to the gym, wait for equipment, work out, drive back home, take a shower, and then do that for multiple days in a week. Most of these things are points of friction, which makes it hard to go to the gym consistently. Now, some people don't mind this and they like going for various reasons, especially for socializing, but that's not the case for me. For me, I went to the gym for years and over time, I just hated how inconvenient it was. Now I just work out at home and I just bought adjustable dumbbells and a workout bench. It was a good investment for me because I save both money from a gym membership and time because I don't have to drive back and forth and get ready and stuff. Also waiting for gym equipment because that sucks. So if you have the space, a home gym can be a good option for you, especially if you have issues with consistency. Okay, let's recap. Protein and resistance training helps maintain muscle. The 3 protein Ps, prioritizing protein and a longer eating window helps make eating protein easier. And I like to use hand portions to measure my protein without using a food scale. And consider doing resistance exercises if you really care about maintaining muscle. And one last thing I want to mention is that muscle loss is only more of a concern when you have a lot of weight to lose and are spending a lot of time losing it. It's hard to give exact numbers because there are so many variables, but I'll give you a frame of reference. I lost 20 pounds in the past like 5 months, almost 6 months. This is a lot of weight for me since I started at a healthy weight, meaning I wasn't overweight. And the amount of time I spent losing is kind of long and I still have a few more months to go, which sucks. So maintaining muscle is something I need to really focus on. A few years ago, I lost a similar amount of weight and a similar timeline, but I didn't eat enough protein or lift weights, and there was a pretty big noticeable difference in how I looked without clothes on. Like I had this skinny fat look that I didn't like, and now I'm making sure I don't make the same mistake and get that look again. But yeah, anyways, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.